How the hell does a Delta guy get out and then produce the show SEAL Team?
Everything's shot out of order. It's all shot based on the logistics of the location. Lord of the Rings, shooting 3 movies out of order? We got military guys. Do we have military gear? Yep, we're good. They don't know what they don't know. Came in, I mean, he had every Cry uniform in every freaking size, every Cry vest. Dude had a ton of AOR1 stuff, like.
My first question, how the hell does a Delta guy get out and then produce the show SEAL Team?
Sweet irony. It's funny you say that because there's a show called Echo 3 on Apple that's got some Delta guys, and it's advised by a SEAL.
No shit.
And then the movie Triple Frontier, which my buddies Kevin and Nate worked on, both SEALs, or former SEALs, it's about Delta guys, and they advise that. So it's, it's the, the executive producer, he was a SEAL in Dev, and he had a book, and this show was kind of, not based on it, but derivative of that, the teams or that team, I guess specifically, and so I had been working in Hollywood for maybe 7 years at that time. Mostly on movies. I think I'd done a couple shows, but mostly movies, which is sporadic. A movie will, like Suicide Squad, I got a call and they're like, hey, can you leave in 4 days for 6 months? And that's how they go. And then you're there for 6 months, and then, you won't do another movie for 4 months. So, so I was actually bodyguarding. Bodyguarding was my waiter job.
Really?
In the Hollywood. Yeah, I was bodyguard for, I think almost a decade. Yeah, I did every type of EP work there is. I mean, corporate, you name it, freaking music tours, everything. I don't think there's a category that I didn't check the block, whether intentionally or unintentionally. But I actually had a corporate gig that was a unicorn, but I, done movies and stuff like that, and the other call. So 2 calls were made. One was to Marcus, who Capone, who I know as well, great guy, and he couldn't do it. I forget what he was doing, and then they called me, and because the EP, the SEAL, who's the EP, he had worked on the pilot, done everything with the writer, but he couldn't do the on-set stuff because of prior commitments, and he'd never done. Obviously, he knew the authentic component to make it real, obviously, but the way the film industry works, he had no experience in. So they called me, and I actually quit that job. And it was a pilot. I mean, there's the odds of a pilot getting picked up to a show are like 1 in 100. It's very rare. I just had a good feeling about it, so I quit that corporate EP gig. And again, I think it was like a Wednesday, and they wanted me to leave on Friday to go to New Orleans to shoot the pilot for 6 weeks. And so I quit and went out there, and it's. The thing I'll say about the show is it's a unique combination. We, on that show, have been able to do what we've done just because of a unique combination of factors. Like, are there a bunch of military people that, know tactics, gear? Oh, of course. But we just got a group of people that cared to listen. Is the very short way to say it.
Interesting.
Yeah, because look, if I tell you you've got those helmets, and again, I'm using gear as an example, you've got those. I'm going to say it this way. This'll perfectly summarize what happened. So, and it's kind of a funny story. So again, making a pilot about Dev Group. So I show up. I get there in New Orleans. I think we had a week and a half of prep before filming started. And filming, by the way, again, I don't know how much you know, so excuse me if you already know this. Well, audience, someone will not know.
I've never been on a Hollywood set, so.
Okay, well, if you want, come on out, or now that COVID's over. But so basically, everything's shot out of order. It's all shot based on the logistics of the location. Story order means nothing. You know, we have to go here, then we have to go here. So once you're there, you shoot all the scenes there. Once you go there, you shoot all the scenes there. It's just...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is for acting, and everything's out of order. So it's definitely difficult. Like Lord of the Rings, shooting 3 movies out of order. I act on camera. I don't know how those guys did it. Like, it boggles my mind. Like, you're shooting week 2, the characters knowing each other for 5 years. Like,
wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how they track that in their head. But anyways, so I get there, week and a half till filming, and I'm like, all right, you know, let's like what you got. You know, you got all these departments. So I go to I go look at the wardrobe and props. Props, I'm not joking, has like Black Hawk vest from like 2008 that like freaking, you know, podunk SWAT team wouldn't be caught dead in. You know, I was just like, you know, like, okay, you know, what do you got for, let's look at wardrobe. You know, I like the uniforms. They got 2 uniforms. They got the Blueberries, Navy uniform at the time.
Wow.
And then they had the Blueberries and the, it's not AOR2, but it's the green, guacamole avocados, whatever they call them. But again, the dress version, you know. And I was just like, oh, shit. All right. I go to the producer or the line producer, and I'm like, okay, so here's the deal. You have nothing. Like, you have nothing. Like, we're filming in a week and a half, and you don't have anything. And he's like, what do you mean? You know, we had props. And again, it's not the props and the wardrobe people. Wardrobe people were great. You know, they do research, and unless you know, like, some airsoft forum, you're not finding current freaking Dev Group issued stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't know, even with the internet, they don't know where to look. And you're not going to find it in a Google search. So they look up Navy uniform, Blueberries, simple. Fucking order Blueberries, you know, or that camo pattern. So I was just like, oh man, yeah, you guys got nothing. All right, let me make some calls. And a guy that I know had been doing photo shoots for gear companies for quite some time, for like, I don't know, 8 years. And I'd, you know, with them, deal was you go do the photo shoot like that, you know, take some cool photos. You don't get paid, you know, but they let you keep the gear. Which, that's worth it for me if I can go right on, you know, it was fun. So I knew what he had. So I called him up and I'm like, hey, dude, and again, how many people would do what I'm about to say? So I called him up. I'm like, hey, man, I'm working on this project. I need you. He was in LA. I'm like, I need you to fly to New York tomorrow, box up all your stuff, and overnight it to New Orleans. And he's like, oh, okay. Are they going to rent it from me? No. It's like, okay. All right, I'll hook you up. Oh, are they going to pay for my flight? I'm like, no. And he's like, okay. I'm like, and I just told him, I'm like, dude, they don't know what they don't know. Like, they don't know that they have nothing. I know it. You know it, because I explained it to them. But I'm like, to them, we need military stuff. They got military stuff. They got uniforms, and they got, you know, tactical vest. They're good to them. To us, we'd watch it and go, you know, we'd laugh. And that is, by the way, why stuff is wrong all the time.
Damn.
Because it's that simple. We got military guys. Do we have military gear? Yep, we're good. They don't know what they don't know.
Gotcha.
And that's the fundamental thing. And so anyways, he shipped the gear. It came in. I mean, he had every Cry uniform in every freaking size, every Cry vest. Dude, he had a ton of AOR1 stuff. Like, oh, that was the other thing too, by the way.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Sean Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.